More Israeli airstrikes pounded Gaza overnight, including in the territory's north center and in Rafah, according to local journalists. It comes after Sunday's strike, which killed at least 45 people sheltering in tents in the southern city, prompting outrage from many international leaders. Well, U.S. President Joe Biden has repeatedly warned Israel against launching a major military operation in Rafah, and earlier this month he said he'd limit weapon supplies to Israel if it entered the, quote, city's population centers. However, his administration insisted Tuesday that hadn't happened yet, and Washington's red lines had not been crossed.
We still don't believe that a major ground operation in Rafah is warranted. We still don't want to see the Israelis, as we say, smash into Rafah with large units over large pieces of territory. We still believe that. And we haven't seen that at this point. But we're going to be watching this, of course, very, very closely.
Well, a little earlier, we spoke to France 24's Rob Parsons in Jerusalem about what's happening on the ground.
I think what they mean by that in Washington is this operation in Rafah isn't on the scale of the one that we saw earlier in Khan Yunis, for instance, or in Gaza City. Nothing like the same number of army brigades being used. And Israel has planned it better in advance by ordering people to evacuate Rafah in advance, as it is in turn advanced towards the center of the city. So there have been less civilian casualties this time round, although the evacuation centers are overflowing with refugees. On the ground, what we're seeing at the moment, Israel moving bit by bit through eastern Rafah. They're moving now into the center. There have been reports of several tanks seen near a central mosque in Rafah. They've taken control over a hill looking over the city, and they've taken control pretty much of the entire Philadelphia corridor, which runs along the border between Gaza and Egypt, just across the border. So, the Israelis are progressing. They say they're achieving their objectives. For the population living in Rafah, it's misery. It's dangerous to stand outside on the street for risk of being attacked by Israeli drones. The conditions on the ground are awful, but Israel is insistent that it is achieving its goals not by a major offensive, but by a gradual phased attack, which is taking control gradually of Rafah.